how do we reach the first 100K? From where are we going to get all that money, to be able to invest and reach the first milestone? 50 percentile of the American families have a net worth of 192,900. If you are in the 80th percentile and you're not saving like the rest of the US families who are in this bracket, then it's really time for you to rethink your investment choices. Hello everyone and welcome to another informative session on investments. My name is Shweta, a finance enthusiast and your next door friend here to walk alongside you on your path to achieving financial freedom. Today we will be looking at age-based investing. Mainly we will look at what age group do you belong to, 30s, 40s or 50s, and see how you need to invest to reach the $1 million mark. And today we are also going to see the survey results conducted by the Federal Reserve back in 2022, and these numbers are going to reflect to you where you stand in terms of rest of the US households with respect to your net worth, your income and your investment in stocks. This is going to be a very useful, informative video, so please stay tuned till the end. So few questions that you need to ask yourself when it comes to investing is, does it really matter to you to begin investing early? Would you give importance to time over money? Do you have a savings mindset? Do you believe in a rich today or a richer tomorrow? Is debt payoff stopping you from investing? Once you know the answer to these questions, then you will take effort to begin your investment journey. So if you are beginning to invest or are in the middle of your journey and aspiring to reach your first 100K, let me warn you, this first milestone is the one that's going to take you the longest time and effort. But once you reach this step, the future 100Ks take considerably less time as the magic of compounding takes into effect and you reach the next 100, 200, 500K milestones much quicker, and it gets much easier than you think it would. So the biggest question is, how do we reach the first 100K? From where are we going to get all that money, to be able to invest and reach the first milestone? And let me tell you, it's very difficult. It's really very easy to do that. And I have done it myself. The few things that really helped me was the subscriptions. And I'm sure many of you have all of those unwanted subscriptions, which you've never really even had a look at for a few months, or maybe you're using, but you can do without it if you really want to save. For me, it was mainly the Spotify. I got to know that I could share my daughter's plan, so I didn't need one of my own. And secondly, YouTube. I had a monthly subscription to YouTube, and I decided to cancel that as well. And similarly, there were a few others that I really did not need, and I went ahead and canceled. Eating out, that was one of the other spending items on our list, where we ate out at least once a week as a family. But then we decided, we can just fix a nice meal at home over the weekend and have the same amount of fun than, going out and eating. That helped us save quite a few hundreds of dollars over the month. We all need some amount of fun in life. We all like to splurge a little somewhere, whereas we can save a little at some other places. So that's for you to decide what works best for your family. I'm not saying what I did. That's something you need to do. And yes, and I'm sure if we go deeper down, and then we'll definitely get to find those pockets of savings in each of our household. Investing in your education to upskill and get a better job is definitely going to help you increase your salary and be able to save that extra amount every month. So the whole thing basically suggests increase your saving and begin investing. So all of this leads to that same path towards reaching your 100K goal. And we will be talking about how to pay off your debts and how to increase your investments later on in this video. So please stay tuned. So let's take a look at how compounding works. So let's take a hypothetical example of Mary, who is in her 30s. She works in IT, earns 75K before tax. She decides to save and invest 10% of her monthly income after tax for the next 30 years. And it amounts to $500 a month. So how much do you think would Mary make if she continues to do that for 30 years? So let's find out. So here is a chart that I have drawn for easy understanding. So year one, Mary is investing $500 each month, which results in $6,000 end of year one. Considering the market is giving 10% interest year over year, at the end of year one, she has made $6,600. That is including her interest income. it took 10 years for Mary to reach her first 100K, but if she continues investing, it only takes another 5 years for her to reach the second 100K. So the time to accumulate the second 100K is halved basically. So 10, and now it's just half the time it requires for her to reach the second 100K. And from there on, she continues investing, and within 15 years, she reaches her 1 million mark. So if you see, the first 200K took 15 years, but the next 800K took the same amount of time, which is 15 years. And that's the magic of compounding. So let's see how much Mary totally invested. So Mary invested a total amount of 180K over 360 months by investing $500 each month, and she made $905,661, which is a 403% increase over 180,000. So can you see? That's sheer magic of compounding. And I can't stress enough how important it is for us to be patient and see the magic work. So if you contribute $500 each month, it took 30 years to reach $1 million mark. But if you just increase it slightly to $550, you can achieve this in 22 years time. So you see, it's 8 years saved. But if you increase that investment to say 20%, which is $600, only 16 years it will take for you to reach your $1 million. So basically, if you are in your 50s and you have 15 years left, considering you retire at 65, I would say invest $600 to reach the 1 million mark. But if you are in your 40s and you have, say, 20 to 25 years of investment, then $550 will help you reach that magic number. So just to put everything in perspective, the first 100K takes time, and thereafter it's an exponential growth reaching to over $1 million. So you all are looking at achieving your first 100K, and the way to do it is mainly trying to get all of these things in order. Firstly, pay off your debts, home loans with greater than 6 or 7% interest. Employer matches on your 401k, take complete advantage of that. Max out your 401ks. Invest in index funds or low-cost mutual funds. Increase the amount of investment as your income grows. And then invest in tax advantage accounts like Roth IRA, where you will grow your investments tax-free, and you'll also be able to withdraw it tax-free. So we are not done yet. Now comes the interesting part, where you are going to see where you stand with respect to the millions of other US households. And this is based on the Federal Reserve survey that was conducted back in 2022. So Federal Reserve conducts survey once in 3 years. We still don't have the survey results for 2025. So we are going to look at 2022 numbers. And I would just suggest that you add 20% to whatever numbers you see out there to get an idea as to what 2025 would look like. And so let's have a look. So we are going to basically look at the net worth, the income, and how are the households in the US invested in the stock market right now. So here is a quick look at the income of an average US household, and I'm sure these numbers have increased substantially from back in 2022. So if you are earning $75,000 in income, you are in your 30s, you're earning $75,000, you are somewhere in the 50th percentile, which basically means 49.9% of people earn less than you, and the same number of people earn more than you. And if your average family income is at 153,000 or above, then you are in the 80th percentile. So if you are in the 80th percentile and you're not saving like the rest of the US families who are in this bracket, then it's really time for you to rethink your investment choices. Look at this pyramid on the right and the table on the left. So the table on the left is basically telling you the percentile of net worth. And if to read it correctly, the 50 percentile of the American families have a net worth of 192,900, which is closer to 200,000 back in 2022. And looking at the right side, you see this pyramid. So pyramid is broken down by the age group as deemed right by the Federal Reserve. So for age group below 35 years, the average net worth of the family is 183,500, which is close to 200,000. Then for 35 to 45 years is $500,000, and 45 to 55 years is close to $1 million, and 55 to 65 years it's $1.5 million. So, and I would add 20% to 30% to these numbers to get an estimate of what it would be in the 2025 survey. So let's look at how to calculate our net worth. Net worth is simple. It's assets minus liabilities. Assets are everything you own on which you do not have any debt, mainly all the cash that you have in your bank accounts. Investments, your investments in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 401k, or any other retirement accounts. The principal amount on your primary home, your rental home, or any businesses that you own, any other real estate as well, car, your current car, the value of your car, the KBB price, jewelry, and any other expensive items that you own make your assets. Liabilities are all the debt payments on your house, on your auto loans, or your student loans, credit card debt, medical bills, all of that forms your liability. That's how you will be calculating your net worth. So let's look at the stats from the survey conducted by Federal Reserve. So looking at this, we see that 78% of the families in the upper middle class were invested in stocks back in 2022, and 95% of the families in the top decile, which basically shows that the participation in the stock market rose in 2022 in comparison with what we see here from 2013 through to 2022. And I'm sure these numbers have risen further in the next 3 years up till 2025, which we still do not have those numbers yet. So if you are not yet invested in stocks, then these numbers should encourage you to begin your investments. And I know many of us are indirectly invested in stocks through our 401k or any other retirement accounts that we hold. But I think it's time for us to also directly actively participate in stocks aside of your 401k or the retirement fund distribution. So we just saw the survey reporting the number of US households invested in stock, but are you really curious to know the dollar amount of investment per US household? And these are average numbers. So let's dive into the dollar amount and see how it looks. Wow, so if you see families in the 50 to 90 percentile of the income group have an average of 200k invested in the stocks, whereas the top 10 percentile or the elite group have 2.1 million invested in stocks. So how are we invested? It's time to go check our investment profile and then bump it up. So if you have found this video interesting and informative, and you've enjoyed going through all the numbers, and if it has been an eye-opener for you, please like, subscribe, and share my video with your friends who would appreciate this information. Thank you.